Okay. Can you see the screen? Can somebody please confirm?
Yes,
Oh,
yes, Abdul, I can see.
yeah, thank you. Yeah. So uh, over here, yeah. So myself, I'm Abdul, and I'm your instructor. So the class delivery will be in the English language. So I'm an ex-Veritas and ex-Commvault engineer. I have around more than 10 years experience in backup domain. My latest experience is in Commvault, product, backup product, and also Veritas Net Backup product. Uh, so, okay, you are here for the demo session. So here I'm going to, give you like what topics I'll be delivering in this, the course as an online training, and what is the content, and also like so I mean. So what are the things I can deliver in this, session in this course, and post training? What will be to what level I will give the assistance? So all that information, and also finally question and answer. It will be only 1 hour session. We'll see that if you have any further questions. If it is, the session is extending, then we'll see they will try to extend it. So yeah, so they said like so the course which you are delivering, it is one more. Keep the phone on mute. Sorry, somebody's trying. Okay. Hey, hi. Hi, Harish.
Hi.
Yeah. So, okay, can you go on mute?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Harish, just now I started. If you did not miss anything, don't worry. Yeah. So, this is about me. I have around 10 years experience in backup product like Commvault and also Net Backup. So, I'm also ex-Commvault engineer and Veritas engineer. So what is this session is about? Like it is about Commvault professional training. So okay, so for the people who are very new to IT, or very new to backup product, I will give you the briefing on it. Don't worry about it. But let me first go through. So what is the thing we're going to deliver in this session? I mean in this course. So this session is only the demo session. So whatever the things I'm going to teach in this course, so it will cover all the the day-to-day operation activities for L1 backup L1 engineer and L2 engineer. So you know that, right? Usually in if you are doing any infra support, like if you are a part of an operations team, so you'll be having a different levels. I mean, most of the companies will follow level 1, level 2. So some companies they don't have, but usually L1 is something that the basic level of monitoring, or troubleshooting. Those activities will be covered. And L2 is somehow like above L1, like the troubleshooting at an advanced level. We can call it as an L2 engineer. So here this session will be 30-hour session. Again, so you'll be learning about the product from the basic. So what is expectation is like you have to have a basic knowledge of information technology. When I say the basic knowledge, so you should be knowing like what is an operating system, and you should be knowing, like you should have some at least the Windows operating system knowledge. Knowledge in the sense like you should know like something like when I say C drive, D drive, that level knowledge you should be having, and some basic knowledge about the networking. So when I say LAN, SAN, those things at least you should be having some overview. I don't expect you to be expert in SAN, but SAN, LAN, networking concepts, but basic level knowledge. So if you have that, then you can easily follow it. So what will be included in this particular course? So I will give you, so apart from delivering the content, the theoretical, and also we have in labs also, lab demos. So wherever feasible, I will show you the lab demos also. So why I mean feasible is that there are some like for example there is one environment which we call it the SAN environment. So even Commvault has a feature that can take an backup of the snapshots. So that feature I might not be able to show you in the lab demos, but I can show you in the theory and also all the screenshots, those things, how you configure, those things I will show you. So don't worry, most of the things will be covered in the lab, only the few things. So I want to set an expectation at the beginning itself. And likewise, I'll provide you all the, whatever the things. You don't have to take a notes of the class delivered. So whatever the things I show you, like slides and, the detailed lesson PDF file, I will share you. And also the recording of this particular class everyday session will be also be shared on YouTube. So YouTube in the sense it will not be public, it will kept private and it will be shared only to your email address. And yeah, post completion of the course, I would say like not post, during the course only, like so wherever if I'm taking, if you're discussing about any particular topic, so I will give you like where the interview questions will be expected. So most of the, for example, if I complete one topic, on the topic, what kind of question you can expect in the interview. So those stuff will also be discussed here. So once you complete the session, complete course, there will be a mock interview. I mean, it is up to you. If you are willing, then I can take a mock interview, and then I'll give you the constructive feedback, in the sense like, even before you go to the, if you are facing an interview. So if you have an experience on the mock interviews, then I'm pretty sure that in one or two interviews you're going to clear, you know, like any interview from any company. And post job assistance. What this means is that once you are placed in any company, and so for an initial period will be tough, right? Because if you are new to the backup, or if you have if you have changed the technology, if you are from storage background, and once you get into a job role and they have assigned you, the totally backup role, so I will be there for you for beginning initial part till the time you get comfortable. Like if you have any quick questions, or if you are stuck anywhere, if you are clueless of troubleshooting, then I will be there. I can assist you on WhatsApp and whatever the media we have. So that this is the things that I can help you with. And yeah, so regarding the content, so let's so before we go to the content, let me first show you something. Yep. So again, you might be having some people might not even know like what is a uh, okay. So let me first start with a backup tool. So like most of the enterprise companies. So like for example, you can consider the banking domain. Like you can take an example of an HSBC bank. So these banks, they need to store the data, whether they have an infrastructure in the on-prem or whether it is on the cloud. They need to take the backups of the critical data they're having. So for taking the backup of the critical data, so they need some kind of a software tool, right? So in the market, we have many enterprise backup tools. So when I say enterprise backup tool, so enterprise means like it's like big MNCs, or the companies which are having big infra. So who are doing an Fortune 500 companies. All these are called as an enterprise companies. So all these companies, they need a backup. So who are the major players which are providing the backup tools in the in the current IT world. So the major players you can see here, the leaders. So it is a quadrant channel, sorry, Gartner channel. So in the Gartner channel, they are the third party who will assess. so the different product based companies, and they will share the customer reviews and all that aspects. If you see here, Commvault is in the leader section. Commvault, Veeam, Rubrik, Cohesity, Veritas. So yeah, so all these companies are the major players, in the backup enterprise backup tool. So out of all these companies, Commvault is a seasoned company. Seasoned in the sense it was started around 1990s. So both Commvault and Veritas, not only Commvault, Veritas and Commvault, they are very old companies. So their product is much matured. Matured in the sense they have huge number of features. So Commvault is a very vast tool. Even the Veritas is also a very big tool. And when compared to other like Veeam, Rubrik, Cohesity, these are the new players, but they are emerging. They're also growing. So, but if you see, the most of the companies, very big companies, banking environment or Fortune 500 companies. So, I mean, they usually go for either Veritas or Commvault because these are very stable product, and they have an ability to take the backup of huge data. And the features are also the Commvault. For example, if you see the Commvault, it has a very good features for on-premise backup and also the cloud backups. So what I say that if you see even the Naukri.com or LinkedIn, so you can find many openings where usually the companies will ask multiple backup tools like Commvault or any other tool like Veeam or Rubrik. But most the mandatory thing is like Commvault. If you have a good knowledge in Commvault, then you are getting hired. And most of the companies, like most of the MNCs, they hire who have a good experience in Commvault. So yeah, so that is about that. And coming to other like Rubrik, Veeam, they cater the mid-size market. So I mean, whatever the companies who cannot afford license for Commvault and Veritas, they will go for like Rubrik. If they want, if the companies want an cost cutting or cost savings, they'll go for Veeam or Rubrik. But Commvault is, this particular tool is the license cost is huge, so only the big companies can afford it. So here, yeah, the reason I'm trying to say all these things is that because you should be aware that you're learning a very good tool. So don't think that so Commvault is not in a small product. If you learn only the Commvault, then I can definitely assure you that with only the knowledge in the Commvault, with no knowledge in storage, with no knowledge in any other tool, definitely you'll get placed. So there are few companies who will be asking for expert level knowledge. I mean, even for average knowledge in Commvault, and even if you don't have the knowledge in other backup products, then that should be fine. They will hire you. So yeah, and coming, let's go to the content now. Okay, so if you see here, like this particular program is about Commvault professional training. So what we'll be delivering here, for example, here we'll see the introduction part. Yeah, I think before even you go for this, let me again tell you what is the architecture. So because there are few people who are very new to IT, so I just wanted to make it very simple. Okay, so this is the Commvault architecture. So let me tell you what is the architecture means. Like for example, architecture is something that the components, in that backup environment, what are the components which are available. So all your if you are a backup admin, so your day-to-day activities will be you'll be working around this architecture. You'll be working around these servers only. So let's focus. Like for example, what you're having in three components, or you're having a three layers, or we can call it as an three-tier architecture also. Like the first tier, which is a major, it's a COMSER, and the second tier is an the media agent, and third tier is an client. CL is nothing but a client, or sometimes they can also call it as a server agent. So the not only the Commvault, if you consider any backup tool, even because I am aware of Veritas, even in Veritas you have a three-tier architecture. So in the same way, backup will have an three-tier architecture. So the first one is the COMSER, the media agent, and client. So let's see what these components are going to do. So COMSER is your master. It's like a brain. So what it's going to do is that it's going to do all the scheduling aspect. So for example, so when you say the backup tool, so what is the main function? Like it's in layman terms, you can say like backup tool is something, whatever is there in you're keeping as a second copy, whatever is there in your server or client machine, you need to take a backup of that. Like for example, simple example, let's consider your laptop, and your laptop have some critical data, and for example, if you don't have a backup anywhere, if you did not copy the critical data in the pen drive or hard disk, I mean external hard disk or anywhere, assume that your laptop, it got, there was some hardware issue and the disk went corrupted, or it might be some virus, antivirus, I mean it might be some ransomware affecting your laptop. It could be some disaster, like there is some hardware failure. What will happen? All the critical data will be lost. So that means your laptop need a backup. So what you'll be doing, if there is a critical data, you'll go for market and then you'll buy some external device. Either it could be the pen drive, or if you want an the large size disk, like you can go for an external hard disk. You connect that and take a backup, right? That is as simple as that. So in the enterprise backup tool, so here also, so I mean, these companies, like for example, if you consider, sorry, HSBC, they cannot take the individual, machine backup on an pen drive or external drive, right? So what they need to store the data in some centralized location. The people who are, already having knowledge in the SAN storage, they might be knowing that better, right? So there are different type of storages. Just like your laptop need an the pen drive or some external drive for for making a duplicate of your data, for securing your data. In the same way, enterprises will need an enterprise, in the sense like, consider an example of an HSBC only. HSBC will also need an some storage device where they can securely keep backup, where they can securely keep a second copy of the data. The first copy is already in the client machine, right? The first copy is there in the client machine, but they doubt, not the doubt, I can say that for an security for an uh, fault tolerant purpose, the best term is like fault tolerance. For a fault tolerance, they need to have an the second copy of the data. The first copy is in the client, but they want to have and maintain a second copy in the storage, right? So now, just like the way, if you are using a personal computer, you just connect your device to your laptop and take in copy paste on the external drive. So on an enterprise environment, it is not that simple. So for copying the data from the client to your storage, you need a backup tool, right? So the tool that can intelligently pick the data and then write onto the storage. So, so here that tool we are calling it as a backup tool. So now the backup tool, you need a backup tool, right? Enterprise back. So you're a, so I mean you're an the technology head in the HSBC, and so you wanted to have an backup tool in your environment, implement a backup tool in your environment in such a way that the client data is written onto the storage. So backup tool will not provide you the storage. Backup tool is an interface, right? It's like a mediator. It will act as an the tool that can copy the data from here and put it onto the storage, and vice versa. For example, if you want to restore, the tool will interact with the storage and select the data whatever the customer need, and then put it back onto the client. Okay. One second. Yeah. So you need a tool, and which will back up the data on the client onto the storage and then restore it back to the server. So up to this point, I'm going to halt for 5 minutes. So if you have any questions, so let's take it, and after 5 minutes again we'll resume. Yeah, you can unmute yourself, and if you have any questions till this part, yeah, you are free to ask.
Abdul, it's too early to ask, but I have small query.
Okay.
In our environment, we are working with TSM tool,
Mhm.
where that will be like it will be installed on a VM, and we are using that.
Mhm.
How this Commvault will be? Is this a physical thing, or in the same way we need to install an agent on the VM, and we need to use this?
Okay, okay. So yeah, so here in the Commvault, for not only the TSM or Commvault, any backup tool, if you see, so they will have different the components, right? If you see that the software, because these are all providing the software tools, right? When I say tool, right, it's a software package. They will provide some software package, and then you are going to install it. So as you said, like if you wanted to back up and suppose assume that the Oracle database. So now you need to Commvault will provide one package. You're going to put that package on the Oracle database server, and then you're going to that package you're called it as an agent. So what we're trying to do here is an agent based backup. So not only Commvault, any backup tool will work in the same way. So there are agent based backups, another one is an agentless. So without agent also you can take the backup. So we're going to see that in the coming sessions.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So Avinash, any questions till this part? I mean, I covered only the basic. We haven't even started the Commvault. It's only the the basic part, because there are a few people who are very new to the backup. That's why I wanted to start from the ground level. Uh, so if you don't have any questions, then we'll move forward.
No, that's fine.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So coming to the Commvault, as I said, it is a three-tier architecture. You have an COM and media agent, and we call it a client. So now, the COM is the brain. So brain in the sense like it maintains the metadata, complete database, like COM database it maintains. So it is responsible for the scheduling the job. So when I mean the scheduling the job, what actually it means? Like for example, consider the case of an your and you're an HSBC employee, and you are working in the account department. So you are responsible for for some financial related data which is kept on the some computers. So now, uh, as an HSBC accountant, so what you expect? You don't expect to manually every day after finish your work, you go ahead and manually run the backup for all those the accounting related data. What you expect is automation, right? So your data at every day night around what at night time it should get automatically backup. So automatic backup means scheduling. So if something should happen automatic, it means that you need to schedule it. So you need to schedule. Okay, so HSBC employee one data should be backup at around 10 a.m. You have to schedule that. So that scheduling information is maintained by the ComServe. So scheduling is one of the tasks that is responsible, that is maintained by the ComServe. And apart from that, it is also responsible for scheduling the backup is one task, and another one is a restore also. Like for example, in the same employee, HSBC employee one, the next day when he came, his because of some fire accident, all his accounting information has been lost. Now he will call the backup admin. Hey, hi, I have an critical issue and I want a restore of my data that was taken in the last night. So what the backup admin do? Again, he'll go log in into the ComServe, and then he will initiate the restore. He will initiate the restore from the whatever the data that is stored in the storage back onto the client, right? So ComServe restore is a manual process. Backup we can schedule. We can do both manual and scheduling, but restore usually it is an on demand, right? On demand means whenever there is a request for restore, then backup admin will do it. So all that process happens through ComServe. So ComServe is an console, administrative console. We can, in simple terms, we can call it as an administrative console, which is responsible for doing the backups and restores of the data. So that is about the ComServe. Next, the media agent. What is the media agent means here? So media agent is also an server. So ComServe is an like it is one of the the server where you will install the Commvault component called ComServe. The media agent, it is also another component, or you can say it is a package. So in simple terms, you can call it it's a Commvault provided package. When you install that package on one server, we call that as a media agent. So what is the responsibility of the media agent? So responsibility of the media agent is it conducts the movement of data from source to destination. So what is the source and what is the destination here? The source here is the client data. I mean, whichever the machine you want to back up. The destination is your storage devices. So what are the different storage devices available? We'll see that. We'll come to that later. So what is the main, responsibility of the media agent? Media agent will conduct the movement of data from source to destination. The source, when I mean source, it's the client machine. The client means don't get confused. The client means doesn't the client can be anything. For example, for a backup admin, the client is an it could be an Oracle database server, or it could be an Windows file server, or it could be the Linux server, or it could be an storage box. I mean, for example, it could be an you can say what are the other agents available, SQL server, or it could be an Office 365 server. So all these are the server which need the backup. We call it as a client, or in simple terms, you can say the server or a machine whose data need to be backed up. Whose data need to be backed up, we call it as a client server. So client will have all the data that needs to be backed up. So HSBC employee one, right? He is having the accounting data on the client machine, and now, so whenever the ComServe, for example, every day at night 10 p.m. there is a schedule running, the backup will trigger. What the ComServe will do? ComServe will initiate a request to media agent. The first request will come to the media agent, and similarly it will also send a request to the client. So what it says, so it will send a request to the client. So it is the time to backup whatever the data you have. You send the data to the media agent. So now media agent, what it will do? So the first phase is the ComServe is sending a request to both the client machine. It is sending a request to the media agent. So why it is sending to both? It is asking to prepare. It is asking the client to prepare the data for backup. It is asking the media agent to, to get prepared so that to receive the data from the client. So now the job has triggered. So client will prepare the data that need to be backed up, and it is going to send the data to the media agent. Media agent is going to allocate the storage resources. I mean, it's going to check on which storage it's going to write, and then it is going to, whatever the data sent by the client, it's going to write onto the storage. So this is a 3-tier architecture. The first one is a ComServe, which is which coordinates all the activity, and Media agent is an, we can call it as a data mover. Data mover means it will move the data from the client machine onto the storage devices. And the client server, the client is nothing but, the agents installed on the server are used to communicate with the OS and applications. So here on the client machine, you need one agent. Agent is again a package. Just like in media agent package, you have an agent package which is installed on that client machine. So that is responsible for collecting the data, whatever the data that needs backed up, and send it to the media agent. Media agent will write to the storage. So media agent, we can call it as an intermediate. It is an intermediate between the source and destination. So another component here you have, that is a storage here. So I hope up to this point it is clear. So the terminology, ComSer, media agents, client. So usually the first question when you face an CommVault interview will be like, what is the architecture of a CommVault? So we can call it as a three-tier architecture. We say ComSer, media agent, and client. Usually this question will be expected in the interviews. So you should be able to explain, in a very easy way. So ComSer, which will coordinate all the activity like scheduling, backups, restore. Media agent, it's like a data mover, which will move the data from source to the destination. Client is like, it's a server or it is a machine whose data need to be backed up. And then you have a storages also, like media agent, it has to write somewhere, right? So where it can write onto the disk. This symbol is for the disk, or it can write onto the cloud. This symbol stands for the cloud, or it can also write onto the tape devices. So storage devices are different types, like you can have an disk storage, tape storage, tape library. You would have heard about the tape library, or the cloud storage. You can also store it onto the cloud. So again, so I mean, it's not, I'm showing you three icon. It doesn't mean that media agent will write onto all the three. It means that either one of them. So it will be configured in the ComSer, like on which storage target the data has to be written. I'll show you all those things in the coming classes. But overall, this is a three-tier architecture, and this entire, environment, the entire infra, we call it as a ComCell environment. ComCell. So, whenever somebody says that how many ComCell environments you have in your environment, in your company, ComCell environment means, for example, HSBC. So HSBC can have multiple ComCell environments. HSBC is a global bank, right? They have an, the center in India. They have a center in China. China is the head office. They will operate in the, North America and European countries. So now they can plan the infra in such a way that in India, they can maintain one ComCell environment, and in China, they will have another ComCell environment. ComCell environment means completely these things. They have a separate ComSer in China, and they can have a separate ComSer in India, separate ComSer in Europe, European country, and they can have a separate ComSer in, United States of America. So that means this complete bundle, or this complete one ComSer and then the other associated media agent server, we call that as an ComCell environment, right? So if you have a ComSer in the different, if you have another ComSer, that's a different ComCell environment. So when you call, when you wanted to call this complete, environment or complete infra in one region, or we can say it is a ComCell environment. In another region, you can have another ComCell environment. So it depends on, the company, like how they want to scale. So it is not mandatory that, like company, they have to host, a different ComCell environments in different regions. It's not mandatory, right? But for example, assume that there may be a small company, but it operates globally. They cannot spend much, they don't spend much, dollars on backup environment. they can maintain a single COMSER and it will take the backup from all the regions. Like for example, you have an assume, Ola company. So Ola, they can have a different branches across, the different countries, but they wanted to maintain only one environment. But this single environment will take the backups from all the regions. That could also be possible. So what you need to understand is that the COMSOL environment means it's a combination of COMSOL and its associated media agents and clients, right? So COMSOL environment means one COMSOL and it's all associated components. So we call it the COMSOL environment. And here I'm showing you only one media agent. It doesn't mean that in the backup infra there will be always one media agent. You can scale it. Media agents can be connected in a cluster. Media agents can be one COMSOL environment can have multiple media agents. And here also I shown you one client. So it doesn't mean that company will have only one client machine. They can have hundreds or thousands of, even some few companies, the companies like HSBC, they might be having more than 50,000 clients. They might be having hundreds of media agents, right? So in one environment, but you have only one COMSER, right? In another environment, again, if you're having a multiple COMSERs, that means you're having the multiple COMSEL environments that you have to understand. So yeah, the complete course will be around, learning in depth about what the COMSER operations will be. I mean, what COMSER will be doing, how we manage it, how we are going to upgrade it, how we are going to troubleshoot the failures, and again the media agents, like how you are going to configure a new media agent, how you are going to upgrade the new media agent, if there is an issue with the media agent, how you are troubleshooting it, and if you want to decommission means if you want to completely remove it, how you are going to remove the media agent, or else if you wanted to migrate, I mean migrate in the sense like if you want to do the hardware refresh. So what actually hardware refresh means? Hardware refresh means if you're having an old server, like for example, the old servers are security risk. They might be prone to security risk, and your company wanted to refresh it. Your company wanted to deploy all this media agent on the new hardware. That is called an hardware refresh. So these things will also be covered in the client machines. Again, client means there might be multiple clients. So in this course, what we'll be covering is we will be covering file system backup, Windows file system backup, Linux file system backup, Oracle DB backup, and SQL server backup, and virtual agentless backups. For agentless backup, Hyper-V. So Hyper-V we will be discussed. And VMware, I mean, I can give you a theory part because I cannot set up the VMware lab, but Hyper-V we can set up easily. I can show you that, but operation perspective, both are agentless. VMware backup, Hyper-V are agentless. So if you learn one, the others will be quite easy. Yeah. So this is what will be, covering in this like 30 days program. And yeah, so